Good morning. How's everyone this morning? There, I'm back. Yeah, so if you're out there with me, say hello. Maybe you're gonna sleep in this morning and that's fine. Good morning, Terry. It's funny, I was just wondering if you were gonna pop into class this morning. Right, so if you decide you want to take this class later, they live on the Balance YouTube channel, so you can plug them into your schedule as you see fit. Have a little coffee. I'm going to start seated this morning. I feel like if I were to lie down, I would fall back asleep. So we're going to start seated. All right, so you're at the top of the mat, legs are crossed. Really ground down into your sit bones. Right, and your hands can rest on your thighs, or if you want, you can take one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly, or maybe have the hands at heart center. Maybe you close your eyes. Good morning, Jenny. All right, and just settle here into this moment, right? Just settle into the body. Begin to notice the breath in and the breath out. Let your shoulders soften. Let your face soften. You can just begin to awaken to this moment. Right? The start of the day, the beginning of a practice, a day filled with opportunity and choices. Right? And if you find that your brain starts to wander even at this early hour in the morning, can you just bring it back, right? Bring it back to right sensation, maybe the sounds in your house, people are waking up, maybe it's silent. Right? Maybe you notice sensation in the body, you feel your sit bones grounding down, you feel your shoulders. Each time our mind wanders, it's an opportunity to begin again. It's really that simple. Take a breath in and a breath out. And maybe you open your eyes if they were closed. Take another full belly breath in, fill up. A long breath out. And your next inhale, the arms are going to reach up overhead. And just pause here and let the shoulders fall away from the ears. And then on the exhale, the right hand's going to come down to the mat. The left hand, you're going to stretch over to the right side. Good morning, Robin. Beautiful. You take a breath in, you come back to center. On the exhale, that left hand touches down. Lean over. Really, can you open up the heart? Draw the right shoulder onto the back. Beautiful. Take a breath in. You come back to center. Do that one more time. Right hand drops down. Left hand stretches over. Inhale, you come back to center, and then on the exhale, that left hand drops, lean over to the left. Right, simple movement, simple inhale, simple exhale. No need to overcomplicate at this hour. Take a breath in, arms come back overhead. This time on the exhale, that left hand's gonna come forward, the right hand's gonna come back. You're gonna twist, let the shoulders fall away from your ears. Take a breath in, you come back to center. On the exhale, you open up to the left, right hand comes forward, left hand comes back. Beautiful, take a breath in, you come back to center. This time the left hand's gonna come to the outside of the right knee, right fingertips touch down. Press down into the fingertips, lengthen the spine, and on the exhale, open up across the chest. Twist comes from the waist. Inhale, you come back to center, and then the right hand comes to the outside of the left knee, left fingertips touch down. Really let that left shoulder fall away from the ear. Crown of the head's reaching towards the front of the room. Beautiful. Take a breath in. You come back to center. Arms reach up overhead. Exhale. Hands come to heart center and pause. And just notice in this moment, like what's here, what's alive. Right. Each movement an opportunity to check in. Right. Take a breath in. Arms are going to reach up overhead. Exhale. You're going to plant your hands and make your way into tabletop. Right, so in tabletop, the shoulders are stacked over the wrists, the hips are over the knees, the tops of the feet are flat on the mat. The spine is long. You're gonna take a breath in, move into cow pose. You're gonna drop the belly, tilt the hips, lift the heart. And exhale, you're gonna press down into your hands, round the spine, come into cat. Inhale, heart lifts, belly drops, open up, just waking up the body, waking up the spine. Exhale, you round through the spine. Good, keep doing that. Inhale, heart lifts, belly drops. Exhale, you press down into your hands. You round the spine. Right, maybe you want to throw in a C curve. Maybe you want to sit your hips back into child's pose, right? This waking up, keeping it simple, don't overcomplicate it, right? There is beauty in simplicity. Right? The brain has 60 to 80,000 thoughts in a day. That's a lot of thoughts, right? Thoughts that we're not even aware of. So keep it simple. Into the body, out of the head. Do 2 more cat-cows. And then you're going to come into a neutral spine. Crown of the head's reaching towards the front of your room. Beautiful. You're going to sit the hips back, knees go wide to the edges of the mat. Drop into child's pose, right? Right, this place to come to when it gets complicated, when you need a pause, when you need to ground, when you need to breathe into simplicity, when you need to simply start again. I'm going to walk the fingertips forward, tuck the toes, lift the hips, and make your way to downward facing dog. Right, so in down dog, your hands are shoulder width apart, your fingers are spread. Maybe there's a bend in your knee, right? It's early. Maybe you've already been in down dog this morning. I don't know, maybe. Right, so pedal out the feet, right? If there's some movements you need to do to wake up, right, to this pose, to this beginning. Right, or maybe it's stillness that you need, right? And breathe into that. Right, don't overcomplicate it. Life is complicated enough without us adding a narrative or a story or a, right, some sort of thought to it. Take a breath in. You're going to glide forward to a high plank. So here in high plank, you can drop the knees, the shoulders are stacked over the wrist, heels are over the balls of the feet, thigh bones are lifting up to the ceiling, belly button's hugging into the spine, right? And you breathe here, simple breath in and breath out. Take a full breath in, exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath in, you glide forward, high plank. Right, and what do you notice? What do you feel? What shows up here? And if the mind starts to complicate it, can you make it simple? I'm here breathing in plank, hanging out. Take a breath in, exhale, downward facing dog. Right, see, it's that mindfulness and being aware of the thoughts, then we choose how we engage with them. Take a breath in, glide forward, high plank. Yep, you're here, you're breathing. You got it. Take a breath in. This time on the exhale, you're going to lower all the way down to the mat. Take the fingertips to the off of your mat. Come up to the fingertips. Take a breath in. You're going to lift the heart to cobra. Broaden across the chest. Exhale, you lower. Take a breath in. Heart lifts to cobra. Press down into the fingers. Exhale, you lower. One more. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, you lower. You bring the hands back by the rib cage and you make your way back to downward facing dog. Right, from downward facing dog, you take a full breath in and a long breath out. You're going to look forward and walk, step, or jump your feet to your hands. You're at the top of the mat. You take a breath in to a halfway lift. The spine is long. The crown of the head's reaching towards the front of the room. Exhale, you fold. Inhale, you ground down to standing. Rise up, look up. On the exhale, the right hand's going to come down by your side. Lean over, stretch the side body over to the right. Keep rolling that left shoulder onto the back. Take a breath in. You come back to center and the left hand comes down on the exhale. Stretch over to the left. Beautiful. Take a breath in. You come back to center. Exhale, you fold. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you fold. You plant your hands. You step back to plank. You pause here and plank. Right? You take a breath in. Exhale, you lower down. Right? Heart lifts to cobra on an inhale. You can keep your hands by your side or you can do striking cobra, your choice. And then you make your way back to downward facing dog on the exhale. Simple breath in, breath out, linking breath to movement. Take a full breath in, look forward, feet to your hands. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you fold. Inhale, you rise to standing. Exhale, right hand drops to the side. You breathe over to the right on the exhale. Inhale, you come back to center and that left hand comes down. Exhale, You stretch over to the left. Inhale, you come back to center. Exhale, you empty out and fold. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you plant your hands. You step back to plank. You pause in plank for a full breath in. And on the exhale, you lower down. Right, heart lifts to cobra on your breath in. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right, and sometimes these movements that we've done a million times, right, we can really complicate even the simplest Sun A. So take a breath in and a breath out. Look forward, feet to the hands. Right, stay in the body. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you fold. Inhale, you rise to standing. Exhale, that right hand drops to the side. Left hand stretches over on the exhale. Inhale, you come back to center. Left hand drops. Right hand stretches over on the exhale. Beautiful. Inhale, you come back to center. Exhale, you fold. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you plant your hands. You step back to plank. You pause here in plank. Right, simple breath in and breath out. Exhale, you lower down. Heart lifts to cobra on an inhale. Exhale, you make your way back to downward facing dog. Right, the breath is a reminder to keep it simple. Right? Sometimes focusing simply on the breath takes us out of our head and into the body. Take a breath in and a breath out. You're going to lift the right leg in the air on an inhale. Exhale, you step it forward in between your hands. You're in a low lunge. Right, so your right knee stacked over your right ankle. You're on the ball of the left foot. Right, the crown of the head is reaching towards the front of the room. The fingertips are down on the mat, framing the right foot. Right, and you breathe here. A new shape, right? It's just that. It's a new shape. Don't overthink it. Take a breath in and a breath out. So you're going to spin the left toes down so that they're facing the long side of the mat. And then you're going to spin the right toes so that they're facing the left side of the mat. And you're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold. Right, so knees can be bent. So you're facing the left side of your room wherever you are. You can come into ragdoll, grab opposite elbows, let the head and neck release, right? Simple. You breathe in and you breathe out. Fingertips are going to come down to the mat. You're going to keep the left hand down. You're going to bend into the left knee. Right hand's going to lift to the sky. Good morning, Christine. Beautiful. You take a breath in. You exhale. That right hand comes down. You're going to bend into the right knee. Left hand is going to reach up. Open up. Good morning, Ashley. Take a breath in. Exhale. That left hand comes down. You're going to spin the right toes so that they're facing the front of the room. Right? Come back to a low lunge so you're on the ball of the left foot. Take a breath in and a breath out. Right foot's going to step back to meet the left. You're in high plank. Beautiful. You take a full breath in. Exhale, you lower down. Heart lifts to cobra on an inhale. Exhale, you make your way back to downward facing dog. Left leg lifts to the sky on an inhale. Exhale, you step it forward in between your hands, low lunge. Right, so different side, you may have different sensations. Right, you notice. Fingertips are on the ground, framing the left foot, that right thigh bone's lifting up towards the ceiling. You breathe in and you breathe out. You're going to spin the right foot down towards the right side of the mat. The left foot is going to spin. You're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold on this side. Maybe this time you do something different with your hands. Maybe you clasp them behind your back if you're feeling a shoulder stretch. I feel like my shoulders are perpetually tight these days. I think it's because of like how I'm sitting and working. I miss my work chair terribly. It's the little things, right? Right, you breathe in and you breathe out. This is a very simple forward fold, right? There's no need to complicate it. But stay here, stay in the body, because sometimes if it's simple, the mind starts to spin, right? So stay here. Take a breath in and a breath out. You're going to spin the left toes towards the front of the room. Come up to the ball of the right foot. You're back in a low lunge. Beautiful. Take a breath in. You step back to high plank and you pause here. You take a full breath in. Exhale, you lower down. Heart lifts to cobra on an inhale. And you make your way back to downward facing dog. You take a breath in and a breath out. Right leg lifts to the sky on an inhale. Exhale, you step it in between your hands, low lunge. Inhale, you're going to rise to high crescent lunge. All right, so in high crescent lunge, that right knee stacked over the right ankle. You're on the ball of the left foot. Arms can be framing the ears or they can come to heart center. Beautiful. You take a breath in, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. You frame the foot. You step back to plank. You pause here in plank. You breathe in, you breathe out. Simple, simple structure. And when your mind starts to think, oh, how long do I have to be here? Don't worry about it. I'll tell you when it's time. I say with a smile. Take a full breath in. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg lifts to the sky on an inhale. Exhale, you place it in between your hands, low lunge. Inhale, you rise to high crescent lunge. Right, I find that the first side, it's always easy to keep it simple because you don't know what's coming, but the second side, you can start to complicate it and get into a conversation in your head, right? Because you know what's coming. So can you stay here in the body? Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, you cartwheel your hands to the mat. You step back to plank. You pause here and plank. And you take a breath in. Exhale, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, you take a breath in and that right leg lifts to the sky on an inhale. On the exhale, you step it in between your hands, low lunge. Inhale, you rise to high crescent lunge. You take a breath in. Exhale, hands come to heart center. You're going to lean forward over the right thigh. You're going to take the left elbow to the outside of the right knee, twist open. Right, so press the hands together. Right, roll the top shoulder. As you breathe in, can you lengthen the spine? And on the exhale, can you open up? Right, watch that left ankle or heel that likes to kick out, pull it into the center. Make space on the side body. Beautiful. Take a breath in. You're going to ground down into the right foot. Left foot's going to step up. You're going to keep the right knee bent. You're going to land in a twisted chair. Good morning. All right, so you're here in a twisted chair. The weight's on the back side of your body. And keep pressing into the hands, toes are light. Beautiful, take a breath in. Exhale, you're gonna fold forward. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you fold, you plant your hands, you move through vinyasa. So that's just stepping back to plank, lowering down, moving through cobra, and then making your way back to downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Left leg lifts on an inhale. Exhale, you step it forward in between your hands, low lunge. Inhale, you rise to high crescent lunge. Right, and pay attention. Right, do you start to make it complicated? Stay here in the body, stay in the breath. Hands come to heart center on the exhale. Lean forward over the left thigh. Right elbow to the outside of the left knee, twist open. Keep lifting that right thigh bone up towards the ceiling. Soften the face. You breathe in and you breathe out. Right, and do you start planning on when are we going to go to chair? Don't worry, I'll let you know. Take a breath in, ground down into the left foot. Here we go. Right foot steps up to meet the left. You land in a twisted chair. Right, keep pressing the fingers, the hands together. Move the palms towards the heart space. Roll the left shoulder onto the back. Beautiful. Take a breath in. Exhale, you fold. Heart lifts to halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you fold. Plant the hands. Step back to plank. You pause in plank. On the exhale, you lower down. Heart lifts to cobra on an inhale, and you make your way back to downward facing dog. Take a full breath in and a long breath out. Right leg lifts on an inhale. Exhale, you step it forward in between your hands. Inhale, you rise to high crescent lunge. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Lean forward over the right thigh. On an inhale, exhale, left elbow to the outside of the right knee, twist open. Beautiful, you breathe in here, simple breath in, breath out. You're gonna ground down into the right foot, keep the right knee bent. Left foot steps up to meet the right, you're in twisted chair. Good morning, Erica. Right, you breathe, the crown of the head's reaching towards the front of the room. Take a breath in and a breath out. You're going to ground down into the right foot. Left foot lifts up. You're going to step it back and you're back in that twisted crescent lunge. Beautiful. You take a breath in and a breath out. You're going to come back to high crescent lunge on an inhale. Exhale, you're going to open it up, warrior two. Maybe you think, oh, thank God, a new pose, right? You're here, you haven't been here this morning, right? So take a moment to settle in and to notice, but don't overcomplicate the noticing, right? So the right knee stacked over the right ankle, right? The arms are right hands reaching forward, left hands reaching back, let the shoulders drop. The outside edge of that left foot is sealed against the mat. And you breathe in and you breathe out. You're going to flip the front palm, reach back, peaceful warrior. Exhale, you're going to cartwheel your hands to the mat, move through vinyasa. Right, or in that keeping it simple, you just make your way back to downward facing dog, right? Part of keeping it simple is being aware of the thoughts, of the sensation in the body, right? Tuning into what you know. From downward facing dog, you take a breath in, the left leg lifts to the sky. Exhale, you step it in between the hands, low lunge. Inhale, you rise to high crescent lunge. Exhale, the hands come to heart center. Inhale, you lean over the left thigh, right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Twist open. I have to sneeze. Take a breath in. You ground down into the left foot. Right foot steps up to meet the left. You're still in that twisted chair. Beautiful. You keep it simple. Take a breath in. You ground down into the left foot. Right foot lifts up. You step it back. You're back in a twisted crescent lunge. You breathe in. You breathe out. Inhale, you come back to high crescent lunge. Exhale, you open up warrior two towards the right side of the room. So keep bending into that left knee. Let the shoulders soften away from the ears. Maybe you close your eyes. You're going to flip the front palm, stretch back, peaceful warrior. And cartwheel your hands to the mat, move through vinyasa. Beautiful. From downward facing dog, you take a breath in and a breath out. Right leg lifts to the sky on an inhale. Exhale, you step it forward in between your hands, low lunge. Morning, Heidi. Inhale, you rise to high crescent lunge. Exhale, hands come to heart center. You lean forward over the right thigh on the exhale. Left elbow to the outside of the right knee. You twist open. You take a breath in. You ground down into the right foot. Left foot steps up to meet the right. You're in a twisted chair. You got it. You breathe here for an inhale and an exhale. You ground down into the right foot. Left foot lifts up. You step it back. You're into the back in a twisted crescent lunge. Beautiful. You take a breath in. You come up to high crescent lunge. Exhale, open it up, warrior two. Right, so second time in warrior two, maybe you notice that it feels different, but don't overcomplicate why it feels different. Just simply notice. Right? You're going to flip the front palm, stretch back, peaceful warrior. You're going to straighten the front leg, shift the hips back, right fingertips reach towards the front of the room, and you're going to come into triangle pose. Right, so both legs are straight. Right hand can be on a shin, it can be on a block. Left hand's reaching up towards the ceiling. Right, and where can you find length and space here? Maybe you lean back a little bit. And you breathe in and you breathe out. Beautiful. You're going to re-bend the front knee, come back to warrior two, flip the front palm, stretch it back, peaceful warrior. And then you're going to cartwheel your hands to the mat on your exhale and move through vinyasa. We'll meet up in downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, you take a breath in and the left leg lifts on an inhale. Exhale, you place it in between the hands, low lunge. Inhale, you rise to high crescent lunge. Exhale, hands come to heart center. You lean forward over the left thigh. You know where we're going. Right elbow to the outside of the left knee, twist it open. Right, and as you inhale, can you find length, and you exhale, can you open up a little bit more across the heart, right? So noticing the simplicity, right, and being in the moment, you gotta be open. Beautiful. Take a breath in, ground down into the left foot. Right foot steps up to meet the left. You're in a twisted chair. Keep the weight on the back side of the body. Trust it, right? Let your glutes and your hamstrings and your back do the work. Take a breath in, ground down into the left foot. Right foot steps back. You're in a twisted crescent lunge here. You pause here for a breath in and a breath out. Your next inhale, you come up to high Crescent lunge. Exhale, you open it up, warrior two. You settle in here and you notice the breath. Smooth it out. Flip the front palm, stretch back, peaceful warrior. Straighten the front leg, shift the hips to the back. Left fingertips reach towards the front of the room and then drop into triangle. Good morning, Kathleen. That right hand is reaching up towards the ceiling like you're trying to reach my hand or something's pulling you up. Beautiful. Crown of the head's reaching towards the front of the room. Come back to warrior two. Flip the front palm, stretch back, peaceful warrior. Cartwheel your hands to the mat, move through vinyasa. Right. So even as we've moved through poses and added poses on, right, you can still keep it simple, right? That simple inhale and exhale. It will always lead you home, always lead you to yourself, right? Gosh, we forget that sometimes. From downward facing dog, take a breath in and a breath out. And just pause here and notice. Notice how this down dog feels different from the first. And take a breath in. You look forward, walk, step, or jump your feet to your hands. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you fold. Inhale, you rise to standing. Exhale, you drop that right hand to your side. Stretch over to the left on the exhale. Inhale, you come back to center. Exhale, stretch over to the left. Beautiful. Take a breath in. You come back to center. Arms are reaching up overhead. Exhale, you bend the knees. You sit the hips, chair. All right, so in chair, your hands can keep reaching forward. Right, or they can come to heart center. Toes are light. Belly's hugging into the spine. Right? A very simple shape that can evoke, all of the feelings and emotion. But can you notice and keep it simple? You breathe in, you breathe out. You're fine. I know, easy for me to say. Take a breath in, exhale, you fold, take your feet wide to the edges of the mat, grab opposite elbows, come into ragdoll. Right, let the head and neck release. Simple inhale, simple exhale. Bring your fingertips down to the mat. Toe heel your feet back to hip bone distance. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you fold. Right leg's gonna lift to the sky on an inhale, so you're in standing splits. Right, so really ground down into the left foot. Pull the left thigh bone up, right? Hug the belly button into the spine. The crown of the head's reaching towards the front of the room. It's almost like you're looking over at the edge of a diving board. Your heart's moving forward. Beautiful. You're going to take a breath in and a breath out. And your inhale, you're going to lift up. Use your core. Come into warrior three. Arms can reach up in front of you. They can stay at heart center or they can come back behind you for airplane arms. Right? And you breathe in here. Take a breath in. You're going to straighten the left leg. You're going to come up into tree. So the sole of the right foot is on the left calf or the left thigh. Toes can be down on the mat. You just want to keep your foot away from the knee. Right, and here you are in tree, and you breathe in and you breathe out. Right, and you wobble, you fall, you come back in. No need to overcomplicate it. Take a breath in and a breath out. Right foot comes down to the mat. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. You look up. Exhale, you fold. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you move through vinyasa. Rinse it off. Or you make your way back to downward facing dog, right? Your choice. From downward facing dog, you take a breath in, you look forward, walk, step, or jump the feet to the hands. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you fold. Inhale, you rise to standing. Arms reach up overhead. Exhale, right hand comes down. You lean over to the left. Inhale, you come back to center. Left hand drops. Stretch over to the left side. On the exhale, you take a breath in, you come back to center, arms reach up overhead, bend the knees, sit the hips, chair. All right, each pose an opportunity to re-engage, to start again, to notice. To find gratitude for this moment, even for this pose, right? Take a breath in. Exhale, you fold. Take your feet wide to the edges of the mat. This time, reach your hands behind your back. Bend your elbows. Clasp your hands so that the palms touch. Maybe they stay at your low back. Maybe you lift them up for a shoulder stretch. Open up across the heart. Breathe in, breathe out. Simple. They also say that 95% of our thoughts are repetitive and 80% of our thoughts are negative, right? And so the brain complicates things. Come back to the breath to keep it simple. Take a breath in, unclasp your hands, fingertips come down to the mat, toe heel your feet to hip distance. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you fold. Left leg lifts on an inhale. You're in standing splits here. Really ground down into the right foot. Feel all four corners of the foot on the ground. You breathe in, you breathe out. Do you start planning because you know where we're going next? Trust that I won't leave you in standing splits all morning, I promise. Take a breath in. You're going to lift yourself up to warrior three. Maybe you do something different with the hands. Right, but don't overthink like, oh, what should I do? Just do. Move from a space of knowing, right? If we move from a space of knowing, there's trust. And there's no need then for the brain to complicate it. And that takes practice, right? That which we practice becomes stronger. Take a breath in. You're going to come up to tree. Left foot lands on the inside of the right calf, the right thigh, toes down on the mat. Maybe you do something different with your hands. Maybe you close your eyes. Maybe you come up to the toes of your right foot. Right? Challenging doesn't have to be complicated, right? Challenging is just challenging. It's an opportunity to keep it simple and breathe and notice and trust. Beautiful. Take a breath in. Left foot comes down to the mat. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, you fold forward. Halfway lift on an inhale. Exhale, you step back to plank. You pause and plank. Really pull the belly button into the spine. You're going to take a breath in. On the exhale, you're going to lower halfway down. Inhale, you're going to push back up. Exhale, you lower halfway down. You can drop your knees. Inhale, you push back up. Inhale, you lower halfway down. Inhale, you push back up. One more. Exhale, you lower halfway down. Inhale, you push back up and come into downward facing dog, right? So I snuck some push-ups in so that you wouldn't overcomplicate it if I said do 5 push-ups, right? There'd be a whole conversation in my head about not wanting to do the push-ups. So I kept it simple for you. You're welcome. From downward facing dog, you take a breath in and a breath out. Right leg lifts to the sky on an inhale. Exhale, you step it forward in between your hand, low lunge. You're going to walk your right foot across the mat, coming into pigeon. If you know that this doesn't work for you and you'd rather take pigeon on your back, you can do that. All right, so you can keep up on your hands. That left knee comes down to the mat. You can come down to your forearms. All right, this hip opener. For a lot of years, I stayed away from this pose because I had complicated it in my mind, right? And since every time we step on our mat, it's an opportunity to, right, begin again, to make different choices. I tried it and I was like, what? This is not what I thought it was, right? So maybe you always do pigeon on your back and maybe you get curious about why. Have you complicated the pose in your head, or do you not like it, which is fine, right? Or does it cause pain of some sort? So pain is not okay. Discomfort is fine, right? We can learn to breathe through discomfort. In fact, it's good for us too. Pain is not good. So you're here in pigeon and you're breathing in, you're breathing out. You notice if you start to drift, start to complicate it. Start to want to come out, right? So what is it like in that moment when we feel like we need to back away or come out of something or disengage? Can you get curious and stay? Because that's really when the pose begins. That's when the practice begins. Right? The practice of keeping it simple. If you're on your forearms, come back to your hands. Walk your hands back towards your right shin. And come up to the left toes and push back to a 3-legged down dog. You're going to bend the right knee, stack the hips, open up, Maybe you roll the ankle, let the heel get heavy towards the left glute. Beautiful. Take a breath in. You're going to straighten the right leg. Right toes come down to the mat. Inhale, left leg lifts to the sky. Exhale, you step it forward in between your hands. Walk the left foot across the mat. Come into pigeon on this side. Right, and because we have two different sides, there's going to be different sensation. Like this side probably isn't going to feel the same as the right, and that's okay. It is what it is, right? It's not, there's not some big reason for it. And you're in pigeon and you're breathing. Right, and sometimes it's in the stillness, it's in the quiet, in the moments of pause where the reminder to keep it simple is more prevalent than ever, or more important than ever, right? Because that's when the mind takes over. Take a breath in and a breath out. Walk your hands back towards your shin. Tuck the right toes, push back to a three-legged down dog. That left leg is lifted, bend the knees, stack the hips, roll open. Take a breath in, you straighten the left leg, toes come down to the mat. You're in down dog, you take a full belly breath in, sigh it out through the mouth. Yeah, do that again. Take a full belly breath in. Let me hear you sigh it out. Beautiful. You're going to walk your feet through your hands, come down to your back, hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug. Take a breath in. You're going to drop the knees over to the right. Shoulder blades stay on the mat. Maybe your arms are out wall to wall. Maybe you look over the left shoulder. You take a breath in. You come back to center. Exhale, knees drop over to the left. Inhale, you come back to center. Right knee's gonna stay hugged in, left leg's gonna go out long. Take the left hand to the outside of the right knee, cross it over your body. Right hand can be out to the side. Right, and stay here, stay present, stay in the body, in the sensation. Simple breath in and breath out. Take a breath in. That right leg comes back to center. You hug the left knee in, right leg goes out long. Take the right hand to the outside of the left knee. Cross it over the body on the exhale. You breathe in, you breathe out. the winding down, the getting quiet, an opportunity to stay here in the body, in the breath, out of the head. Take a breath in, you come back to center, and hug both knees into the chest, reach in between the thighs, grab the outside edges of the feet, come into happy baby. So the soles of the feet are shining up towards the ceiling. Elbows are moving towards your armpits. Spine is long on the mat. Right, maybe you move side to side. Right, but whatever you do, whether it's stillness or movement, do it from that place of knowing, right? Trust the body and trust the simplicity of what it knows. Take a breath in, release the grip on your feet, legs go straight up in the air, arms can be by your side. Or you can put your hands underneath your sacrum. Feet can flex, they can point, they can alternate. But again, don't overcomplicate it. Right? There is beauty in simplicity. There's freedom in simplicity. Take a breath in. Right foot comes down to the mat. Left foot comes down to the mat. Legs go out long. Heels in the high corners of the mat. Feet splay open. Let the back side of your body sink into the ground. Take a full breath in and a long breath out. Let your shoulders fall away from your ears. Right, this simple final pose is simple. It's to rest, right? But man, it can get complicated and hard in Shavasana. Right? So don't overthink it. Soak it up. Let the mind and body rest. Shavasana. Start to deepen your breath. Bring some movement into your fingers and your toes. Morning, Teresa. keeping your eyes closed. Roll gently to your right side and pause. And then when you're ready, keeping your eyes closed, help yourself up to seated. Together on a breath in, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, hands come to heart center and pause. Together, take a full breath in and a long breath out. The light and truth in me sees and honors that in each of you. Thank you for spending your morning with me. I hope you have a wonderful day. Together we say, Namaste. Have a good day at work, Teresa. Have a good day, everybody. We'll see you soon.